Righto, let's talk about shedding. I'm about to put my sheep into the shed, so they're going to be shedding or shedded. Right, so here in New Zealand, there's a couple of different systems that have been used over the years to rank the shedding of the sheep. We had the ag research one, and I'll show you that one on the computer. And then we've got the beef and lamb one that seems to be more typical. We've also got some breeders going with like an A plus, B. Another breeder puts it in a month. Right, but working on it, we can say that those Suffolks, which are not a shedding sheep, aren't shed at all. So no matter what scale we put them on, they're a zero. They are a zero. There are actually some other ones for like clean heads and breeches and tails, but that's outside this one. Let's just keep it simple today. Marigold here, she is a crossbreed. I bought her as a shedder, and I could see the comb marks on her. You can see she loses around her bum. Oh, sorry, she loses around her bottom. She loses her belly. Got a clean head. So she's probably quite low, maybe a 2, maybe a 3. She's got a clean belly. On the belly score, she'd do well. And there's another crossbreed. She's done the neck and she's done the belly. Let's get in some better girls and we'll have a bit of a look at those. So if we're looking at shedding, and it's just December, it's December the 24th, 2003. We can see, we look at the sheep, that is definitely a 10, this monster. She's a 10 for shedding. She's got no wool, she's fully shed, she's got a nice coat, she's got a little bit of cover, a little bit of protection. So this one, number 4, she bred a lamb and shed like that. This one, number 6, she's mostly shed. She's got a few little imperfections around the back there, little chaps, cowboy chaps, haven't you? Here we go, this is a crossbreed, so we're not going to talk about marigold. We've got ones with a little bit on the back, so they fit somewhere in that shedding scale. You've shed quite nicely, haven't you, Gil? Right, we've got this one here was an interesting one. I bought her by mistake, and if we were going to rate that, it's probably a 2 or a 3, maybe if you're lucky. She has shed her belly, but I don't know how much of this is going to come off, and I'm really interested to see. So that is less than ideal and possibly not a full Wiltshire. Stuff like this one, she's probably a 6 or a 7 at the moment, but by the end of the shed, by the end of this summer, or actually in the next month, all that wool is going to come off, and I suspect if I grabbed it, it would actually just fall off in my hand, wouldn't it? Oh, I do like that clean around the back end, miss. Little crystal here. Probably a 6 at the moment. But again, by the end of the summer, I'm expecting this all to be gone. And that's really, for me, my goal is to have a fully shed lamb at the end of the summer, ideally. But then we have these anomalies like Fluffy over here. So Fluffy did not shed. Did you? As a lamb, you didn't shed at all. Late born, October born. But it is all coming off now. And let's get it in here in the pen and see what she looks like. And her shed and how she sheds depends on whether I'm going to keep that sheep there. The breeding's there, the history's there, but if she doesn't shed, she's no good to me. Personally, what I think is we actually need to have some history on a sheep that rates it on its shedding score. So you can see lambs here, like this one, just about fully shed. It's just got a tail. I've got a little lamb too, this one over here. It's out of a hogget, and as you can see, it's a twin, very well shed, but it's actually suffered a little bit, one being out of a hogget, and 2, it was shed when it was very, very cold. So not an ideal sheep for my conditions. So that early shedding sheep, like in the Northland may not actually, Northland of New Zealand may not be the ideal for other places in the country. A bit of wool cover may actually be good. So I actually think a range of shedding scores through several different months from the ram breeders would be very beneficial for a lot of people. You're a lovely little lamb, aren't you? You're stocky. Oh, you missed the lungs. You are lovely. You're a lovely lamb. Right, I'm not the expert here, guys, okay, and I admit that. I have been farming for a long time, and sheep are more of a hobby, and I'm wanting to find out more. In my other job, my non-farming job, I'm at the top of my game. I do a lot of data, and data to me is so important when I fix high-performance motorsport vehicles when I'm running data, and I use it back into normal vehicles and road vehicles, and testing and diagnosis is really important to me. And I've always been a numbers guy. So the shedding scale and a 1 to 10 scale works, and that seems to be most common. These guys that are doing A, B, C, C's a cull apparently, doesn't work for me at all. And I've got a ram like that. He was a B, but he's still clean now. So I like the month thing. So I think there's actually some breeders that are actually 10s across the board, or some prefer not to do a 10, it's actually a 9 if they're putting it in, and it confuses the algorithms of the computers when they're spitting out numbers. But some of them, I believe, they are thinking that they are all 10s. So the next thing that comes in is the month. I don't want a super early shedding ram. It's cold here. July, August, September, it's cold. I've actually got one. The ewe that's at the farm. She sheds incredibly early, and the ram is a two-tooth, was bare, clean to the skin, like Mrs. Lung, actually less than Mrs. Lung, in July. October, November, he was shedding another layer. He had about 10 mils of wool coming off him again. Not ideal because he was shivering, he was cold, and but using that ram across crossbreds to go to shedding would be ideal. So for those people who are going from a crossbred sheep or from a woolly sheep heading towards shedding, those really early rams are ideal. But for other guys, then a medium shed, and of course there are other things that affect the shedding. The climate, how well they're fed, if the ewe is rearing lambs, if they're twins or singles, though that I've got a really good, that one I showed you, she's a twin. So all those factors affect the shedding. So is it really that important? I would like to think so, and I like, I'm doing mine now, so it's December. I'm going through and I'm putting a shed score on my lambs, only for my own benefit. I'm not selling rams, but moving forward I find it interesting if I look back through, or if there's a fluffy one that pops out, where she came from, what's happened, and whether she does shed, whether she does shed at a later date. Maybe lamb shedding isn't the best indicator. Maybe some that will shed as a lamb may not shed it properly as a two-tooth. I haven't seen that yet, but that may be more of the case, and there are some studies around that. David Scobie has done some studies. If you look up that name, lots of shedding information, and I'm still working through that catalogue of information. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to put some numbers on these lambs, and I'm going to apply the system that I think is about right, and I think consistency is going to be the most important thing. Got some paint on my shirt, thought it was warm. And I'm going to see which ewes, of course I'm going to go through 2, and there's a few ewes to cull out. I'm going to mark them up. I kind of know which ones they are, and I've sold some lambs, so I've got to pick out some lambs for somebody to take as well. So that's my day, but I'd love to hear your comments on the shedding. Consistency I think is important, and moving forward if you get those really earlies or those later shedders, so people, if you're buying rams, people can select appropriately. I'm not sure how to handle that second little shed when they have that, whether they fully, like it's a full shed, but then there's a second layer of fluff and down underneath. I'm still learning. We'll get there. Thanks for watching. And if you really like this video, click a like, subscribe. It'd be fantastic for more of this sort of stuff. And if you've got questions, ask them. You want me to make a video? I don't mind showing off my crappy sheep as well as my good ones. Okay? I don't mind that, because that way we all learn. Seeing all the best sheep in the yards, the shiny pictures, and the shiny brochures, and the nice pictures on the internet doesn't help anyone. Looking at those crappy ones and knowing how we can improve is how shedding sheep are going to improve overall. So I've grabbed number 16 here. She is an interesting spot on her ear. Yeah, you are rearing a lamb. And she's a two-tooth. So we can see the big, can you hold it still? She's got the big two teeth. So she's in her second year of life. She's a 2022 born lamb. And she's got this lovely coat. She's got this lovely thick wool, long wool. But then it's shedding to nothing. And she actually didn't shed fantastic as a lamb. She did shed somewhat, but she's managed to grow this massive fleece on the top. So on the side, she was pretty much shed, but she had this fluffy stuff on the top. So we're going to be interesting to see if this all falls out. It's a lovely shed here. Depends on it whether you stay, eh? You've got to drop it all off. Good girl. Off you go. Good girl. Good girl. Your mum sheds beautifully. Well, I was actually trying to catch the crossbred. Right. Number 6. Fluff on the back. Let's make her a 9. 19. Fluff on the back. But just about all clean. 9. Monster. Fully clean. It's a 10. 88. Look at the size of that. That's a lovely lamb. Just a little bit on the neck, a little bit on the side. How much percentage is gone? Maybe 15% gone. That's a 1. This one, a 1. It's young. It's okay. Nothing shed off it. 0. When it gets tricky like this one, 58. What do you got on there? Are you 60%? Yep, 6. Look at that one. That's a lamb. Just got a tail. Make it a 9. This crazy thing here. Scruffy. Whew. Probably more than a 5. It's probably just touching on a 6. We'll give her a 6. Crazy thing. Her lamb. Lamb's got a couple of tufts, but pretty clean. I'd go 9.5, but I'm going to scale it back. I'm going to give it a 9. It'll be really interesting to see how that one comes up. 76 here. Fluffy, bits and pieces. We'll give her a 9. 0. It's those ones that are at the bottom end of the scale which get tricky. This one here. Maybe 40%, but she's still got a tummy. I'm going to give her probably a 2 or a 3. If I go 2 or a 3, I give her a 2. And that's how I've been working. Rubber lips, what am I going to give you? Are you 30? Are you 30%? Pretty shaggy, the rest of it. Let's give you a 3. We probably need to give you more food, girl, because you're working hard, aren't you? You're about to go in the big paddock. Oh, look at you. Now, I actually put a photo of this one on the group. They said this one was an 8. I'd actually give that one a 9. And that's the difference. We are a little bit different, but at the same time, Some people don't go to a 10, they go to a 9 because of the computer software. So it depends on what you're using. Don't you? I don't like you, do I? We don't get on. And then ones like Granny here. Oh, is that Granny or Auntie? No. Ones like Auntie here. She's got a little bit over the back end. She's probably only a 1, maybe a 2. Means she's a 1. But watch that sheep in 2 months' time. Here's my crossbred, number 59. Now, she's really interesting. I want to get her up close and lift up that fleece and show you what's going on underneath. We're going to give you a 2 or a 3, which makes you a 2, doesn't it? But watch this. So again, beautiful shed. It's actually going way up underneath this fleece. Now, I thought this was a crossbreed. I don't know what her breeding was. I just accidentally bought her. It happens. I bought her with a whole lot of other sheep, actually. And some of the others are actually really beautiful sheep. She's got this long coat. And we may not actually find out, eh? We may not find out because you may not pass the test at all and you may go in the freezer. You'll eat lovely. Well, I've pretty much just gone on the percentage gone to give me my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2's 20%. It's just really tricky when they've got little fluffs like that. But I go on the low side rather than the high side. And I think if breeders were able to actually explain how they're grading their sheep, ram breeders were, that would help people in choosing rams. Thank you. You're lovely. So we'll revisit these in a few months' time and we'll have a look at the same sheep and see how they grade up and see what they're looking like. So right now they need to go back to their big paddock. Come on. Come on. And have their breakfast.